Well, some people say this big of chunk of brick is no longer relevant because this tiny little dongle is going to take over the world. Today, let's find out with my insider knowledge on how good a dongle actually is. Let's start. Hello guys, well, Lee here again. Well, today let's talk a little bit about the dongle and how good they can actually be, and why they are your best investment when you're starting this hobby. Let's say something like this is it's like sort of like a computer with a sound card attached to it. Well, it's not the best kind of way of describing it, but it's a simplified version. And this is like a faster computer with a lesser sound card. And when you buying a dongle, you are only paying for a sound card, and you have tons of this computer already somewhere stashed. We all have tons of old phones. So because when you buy a dongle, you are only paying for the sound card compared with paying for the whole computer plus a extra sound card. This gonna give you a better sound return compare with everything else per dollar. Therefore, this is the best option when you start up in this hobby. Well, Team Apple decided it's the best idea to get rid of the 3.5 port on iPhone X. The company like Xiaomi, Vivo, Huawei, and Oppo are following their lead to make the phone, more slim, getting rid of the 3.5 port, which in turn create huge demand for people, who actually needed a 3.5 port, which is the dongle. That in turn making the dongle incredibly cheap. So for a 32-bit dongle, it only costs $10, give or take. So how exactly is this $10 dongle is compared with something we all know and trust, the LG V30? But before that, let me give you a bit of a background on this topic. So there are actually more than one spec is important for the audio gear device. But let me just say, first of all, the most important one, I guess, the sound, noise ratio, which is like the more output power you get, the less noise you get is the better, and which is all the phone aced on that, even the dongles. Then you have something called THD plus N, which is like the total distortion of your entire system, and as you know, they all acing on that as well because of advanced technology. But the only thing that's actually different, very different with all these things, actually something called the output voltage swing, basically how much power you have. And the Odyssey HD have 0.7 volt, RMS in output voltage swing, and the CX Pro has 1.0. Well, this is your typical Android phone, like all this Android phone without a dedicated codec, without dedicated DAC. This is your most common Android phone situation, and this phone only has 0.2. So this is like 1.0, 0.5, 0.2, 5 times difference, and 25 difference in power, because the wall thing with the power, you all know the math. So exactly how much power we have on a good cell phone, not entering the high fidelity phone territory. We have the Samsung and the iPhone. The Samsung Note, Galaxy Note, and the iPhone 6 SP is both around 0.5, so not as good as dongle in terms of power output. Then we have the LG V30. Actually, LG V30 can go as high as 2.0 volt in the output voltage swing, which is making it a lot more powerful than this too. But the LG V30, without being hacked, will only do that if you trigger the high impedance mode with a high impedance gear. For instance, if you have HD 600, this thing is gonna be a lot better than any of the dongles. But if you have something like a earphone IEM, let's say 32 ohms, the typical 16 ohms, probably the dongle gonna have a bit more push than this one, or relatively similar. Then this, at the end of the day, which you prefer is all come down to the tuning and the synergy. Well, now we know that a $10 dongle can sound in between of the good old LG V30 and the good old iPhone, which is, incredible in value. Then, let's say if we spend $100 get a B1, how much performance can we expect compared with a good old DAP? So this DAP on the second-hand market is about $300 and this is about $100 new. How exactly are they gonna, compare to each other? A lot of people is questioning Andy's statement on that he preferred the B1 over something like the Cayenne N62. We love the Cayenne N62 from VE Clan. A lot of our super VIP fans is actually using the N62 with the A02 module, limited module, pure line out to output to our flagship defined amp. So this is like the $3,000 combo is incredible in portable. But that doesn't mean if we like something, somebody don't like it, and then they are lying. Because first of all, everybody listens to different kind of music. Then everybody has different kind of earphone, headphone, and everybody have different taste. So when you say something like, oh, because you say $100 dongle can sound as good as a $1,000 DAP, then you are lying. That simply means you have no experience in this hobby. Cayenne sounds very analogish. If you don't like the tuning, then you prefer the B1. It's entirely possible because B1 for its size can sound pretty good with a lot of headphone or earphones that I threw at it. And I can say this is definitely a brighter tuning than the Cayenne. So I think at this stage, you should really understand what you are getting into. With the dongle, you can use any of your existing modern phone to do various tasks other than just to listen to music. For $100, this is definitely a good buy also. But if you want to invest a little bit more to get the DAP, you are getting a slightly more refined sound. For sure, because of, hello, this is DAP, it does only one thing and does it really well. But you must find the sound that you actually personally prefer. Because if you don't like the tuning, if you don't have a good gear to pair with it, then nothing actually matters. So this is my point today. If you are getting into this hobby, spend $10, get some dongle like this. Then if you want to spend a little bit more, you can decide if you want to spend $100 get this dongle, or you buy a little bit more get this, depending on what you use for it. But this is definitely the no-brainer starting upper thing. And in next video, we'll be talking about our own mega dongle. So till next time, bye-bye.